Okay. So last time, our last topic is about homogeneous differential equation, and we discussed an example, and we use y equals vx and dy equals to v dx and x dv. Right now, the same problem, we will be solving the same problem using the other equivalent, which is x is equals to vy and dx is equals to v dy plus y dv. Okay, so let's try to solve. And we will try to prove that any of this could result with the same answer. So when you try to solve this one, you can choose only one. So, but better to choose the most easiest na when you do substitution. So, okay, so but again, the both of them will give you the same result as long as you don't have some errors while you're doing your solution. Okay, so let's start. Okay, sorry, let me change this one. Okay, so let me copy first the given problem. The given problem is 6x squared minus 7y squared dx minus 14xy dy equals 0. So, okay. So, I think di klaro ng isa. So, let's change my marker. So, from here, we have this problem. So, let's try to solve this one using our x is equals to vy, and equivalent of this, you derive your x, so therefore you have dx, copy the first, which is v, derive the second, which is dy, sorry, then plus, copy the second, y, derive the first. Okay. So from here, we will substitute this x and this dx to our given equation. So let's try to substitute. Okay, so substituting this is literally putting this value inside your variable. So from here, well, let's start. We have 6 times our x is vy, so by squared minus 7y squared. Okay, then we have our dx. Okay, so multiplied by your dx, which is now equivalent to v dy plus y dv. Okay, minus, that is 14x, 14, and remember our x is vy, vy times y dy. Okay, now let's do some algebra and simplify our equation. So from here, we have 6v, sorry, this is not, okay, the squared is outside. Okay, so that becomes b squared, y squared. Okay, so minus 7y squared times v dy plus y dv. So from here, you have 14 v, so for v, this one, then y times y becomes y squared dy, which is equivalent to 0. From here, we will be distributing this one, these values. Okay, so let's multiply. So 6v squared y squared multiplied by this v dy, so it will give you, sorry, 6 v squared plus times b, that becomes 6v cubed. Okay, you have 6v cubed times y squared dy. So from here, multiply this again to y dv. You just distributing. So that is positive. So you have 6v squared and y squared times y, that is y cubed times dv. Another one. So we have negative 7y times v dy. So therefore you have negative 7y squared times v dy. Next is this negative 7y squared multiplied to your y dv. So you still have negative. So again, class, be careful with the sign, because your sign will make your all solutions wrong. So be careful. If this is negative, so distribute your negative sign also. So from here, you have negative 7y cubed, right? You have 7y cubed, 7y squared times y, it becomes 7y cubed dv, minus 14 vy squared dy equals 0. Okay, from here, let's look into these equations. Okay, so unsa may common from all the equations, guys, na pwede na to is para ma-simplify further. From y, only y squared. So if b, this one don't have b, so dili pwede. So this one naa, but this one wala. But here you have y squared. You can get a y squared from y cubed. We have y squared here. We can also get y squared from y cubed and y squared. So to simplify it, so let's divide this one. So let's divide this one with y squared. Okay, so dividing this with y squared will give you 6v cubed. So this will be cancelled. Okay, so a part of this one, a part of this, and this one. So from there, you will have dy here plus 6v squared y, right? dv, because this is y cube, dv minus 7v dy minus 7y dv minus 14v dy equals 0. From there, you combine those having the same derivative, or dy or dv, combine those. So do we have something to simplify? Okay, we have this one. We could add this one and this one, right? We could add this one. We could add the two. So negative 21, right? So we have to copy. So you have 6v cubed dy. Let's combine it already. So this is dy also. Negative 21 v dy plus, so it's 6v squared y dv minus 7y dv, right? Equals 0. After that, so this dy, okay, what is the common? Both terms have variable v, right? So we could move, okay, so they all have v. Okay, so this one we could have 6v cubed minus 21v times dy, right? We have that one here. In here, we have, they are both, this term have common, which is the y dv and y dv for this. So we could move this one outside. So we have 6v squared minus 7 times y dv equals 0. So let's check. If I multiply this dy to this part, so you have 6v cubed dy, okay, then negative 21v dy, okay, this is correct, okay. So next, multiply this one, y dv, to this one, so you have 6v squared y dv, 6v squared y dv, okay, and 7 times this. So this is still the same with the one above, okay. So when we move above, when we check, you go above, it will still return to the given. Okay, from here, so by the way, you will know that your answer is correct if you don't know how to return it back to the past step. So anak ninyo may bawaan that your solution is wrong. So when you review your solution line per line, you will know, oops, I have an error here because I cannot return back one step at a time. Okay, that's how you will know that your solution is wrong. Okay, so from there, ansa naman, we can now use variable separable, right? Okay, variable separable, which we will divide. Unsa may divide na to? For this part, unsa may di na to kinahanglanan na? Very good. So you have 6v cubed minus 21v. Next, for this part, what is the one that we don't need? Okay, y. Very good, because we have v here, so we want to remain the v here, and what we want to cancel are those who are in different variables. So from there, we will now divide. So let's try to divide. So if I copy this back, minus 21v dy divided by 6v cubed minus 21v times y plus 6v squared minus 7 y dv all over 6v cubed minus 21v times y equals 0. Obviously, 0 divided by this is still 0. So let's try to divide. So this one will be divided to this, okay, and this y will be divided to this. Therefore, what remains is, what remains in our equation is, okay, so we have dy over y next plus 6